Very good morning, children. Welcome to session 3, reaching the age of adolescence. See, in session 2, already we learned about the different types of changes we can find in adolescence, especially this voice change. Why? What type of change we can find in the boys and the girls? In a boys, the voice becomes a very harsh, and in case of girls, it becomes a soft. And even we studied about this Adam's apple. Adam's apple means, when we observe this neck, we can find some swelling, and that is the Adam's apple, and which is responsible for the change of voice in the boys. And even we studied about this sweat and the pimples. This sweat glands and oil glands becomes more and more active, and because of that, now and then there's adolescents develop pimples over their face, and even because of this more and more sweat production, they get some distinctive smell also from their bodies. And even we studied about development of sex organs. In both boys and girls, sex organs like testes and ovaries, they grow to their maximum size and they start developing the gametes, right? And even we studied this reproductive phase of life, means like a menstrual cycle in the girls. And even we studied about this people and myths, especially that means how different types of people are treating this menstrual cycle as a sin like that. Okay, but that's all trash, and we should not follow that. Good. Okay, and this is what we studied in a previous session. And now let's come to a new topic, that is a child marriage. Child marriage, a social evil. What is meant by a marriage, and what is the reason, what is the purpose of a marriage means? It is a social and a cultural practice. Social and a cultural practice to produce next generation. Next generation means in order to continue our generation, that means we depend on a marriage. That means, all the people, they die on one day. So in order to that means hand over their properties and also to continue their Vamsham dynasty, they need the new generation, and for that purpose we depend on a marriage, right? And actually, what is the legal age? The government decided some certain age limit for the marriage. Okay, especially 21 years for girls and 23 years for boys. Correct. This is a legal age. Legal age means, so when the marriage is done at this age, then the generation will be healthy. Correct. But whenever the marriage is done below this age limit, that means girls below 21 years and boys below 23 years, then we consider that marriage as a child marriage. Correct. Child marriage is a social evil. Social evil means in a society it is like a devil, right? Okay, and even it causes unwanted damage to their lives. So whenever we follow this child marriage, then it causes much damage to the health of both the mother and the baby. Correct. Okay, and even if child marriage is done at that age, say that girl is not at all ready for the pregnancy and also this motherlyhood. She is not at all fit. That means her body is not suitable for the pregnancy and also to become mother. Okay, that leads to health problems. That leads to health problems to both the mother and also child. Correct. That's why the government is completely banned this child marriages. Now and then in the newspapers also we can find some other news. Okay, that means say this in a so and so area child marriage was stopped by this government people and all these things, right? And here in your textbook there is one article on this child marriage. That means according to that, one girl was doing her 8th class, but her parents, they want to get married that girl. Okay, but she like to study, and she like to continue her education. But her parents, they won't accept to that education. Okay, but finally, what happened? The teachers and the next elders and also social workers, they came and they stopped that marriage, and now she's studying, she's continuing her education. Okay, and even it also because of this child marriage, say this unemployment issues also increases, and it causes mental agony. Mental agony means mentally they get depressions. Okay, so in this way, this child marriage is having many disadvantages. Okay, that's why it is not at all good to go for the child marriage. Got it? Okay, and even in our country also, this child marriage was very common in olden days, but now we cannot, right? But even today, in some Muslim communities, we can find this child marriages. That means whenever the girls they mature by the next year, that means by the age of 12 or 13 years, they go for a marriage. But it is not at all good, right? And here we can find one photograph. Okay, and here we can find this. Here we can find a very old man. Okay, and what about this girl? See, this girl is very young, and she might be having 12 or 13 years. But what about this fellow? He's a 50 plus, right? So what do you call this kind of marriage? This kind of marriage can be called as a child marriage. At this age, even this girl, she don't know what is meant by marriage and what events in marriage, and what are the responsibilities we need to follow after the marriage like this. Okay, so it's a very difficult process, right? Okay, and now next topic, that is a fast and frigid. Fast and frigid. Frigid means very slow, very slow. Adolescence. When now we study about this adolescence, this is the growing age in our life. That means whenever we observe our life, that means in this stage, in this adolescent stage, we can find much growth. That means especially in regarding this physical changes. That means in height, weight, the next much more changes takes place in this stage. And even apart from this, we can also observe some changes in behavior also. Not only this physical changes, but behavioral changes also can be seen during this adolescence. And when we observe this adolescence, they are very fast in taking decisions. Now and then you can find that the students, that means who get failed in 10th class or intermediate, they get suicide. Why means whenever they feel some problems, okay, then they could not able to take the decisions correctly. Okay, and whatever they feel, they go for that. Okay, that's why we can find that most of the students are getting suicide because of this fast decisions. Okay, taking the decisions very fastly. Okay, and even whenever we observe some other situations, say for example, her parents assign any work to any boy or a girl, and even that boy or a girl, they don't like to do that thing. Okay, then at the time, how they complete that work? They do that work, but very slow. So from this we can say that, see, this adolescents, they behave sometimes very fast and sometimes very frigid. When they take very fast decisions, that means in this kind of a situations, and even whenever they are interested towards some particular work, then at the time they are very fast. But when they don't like to do that work at the time they behave very frigid. Frigid means very slow, right? So from this we can say that they are both fast and frigid, right? Depending upon the situation. And here there is a table, and even you can observe this in your textbook. This is from your same textbook, and when you go through this, you can find some points here, and if those points are related to you, and here you can put a tick mark tick mark or a into mark. Got it? So now, what is the first one? See, prefer to spend more time before the mirror and like to use the perfumes. Okay, you can find that this adolescents, they like to spend more time. Are you doing the same or not? Yes. Okay, so here you can put a tick mark. And then do not want to listen to parents' actions. When the parents are giving advices, you don't like to follow them or you don't like to listen to them. So what is this? This is this is also right. Then feels the only friends are a character, not parents. Now you think that your friends are everything. Okay, why means your friends are supporting you, and whatever you say, your friends will support you, and even they will encourage whatever you're doing. But what about the parents? No, the parents are they won't support in that kind of situations, and the parents they scold. Okay, that's why you feel that parents are not correct, only friends are correct. Okay, so even this is also right. And what's the next one? Searching for identity from teachers and peer groups. So whenever you take this classroom, so you like to get you want to become some famous. That means among the teachers and even so with the peer means along with your classmates. Okay, you want to become like a hero or a leader or something like this. And then want more independence in taking decisions. Say for example, you go for a shopping, think that it's your birthday, and whenever your parents are selecting the dress, you feel that it is not good. But whenever your parents ask you, come on, whatever the dress you like to take, you just take that. Then you feel very very happy. Why means you like that independence, right? And then feeling a responsibility in the work allotted at the school and also house. Whenever the teacher, say for example, the teacher is going outside because of some work, and think that the teacher allotted you as a leader, and she gave some work. Just maintain the class like this. Then at the time you feel very very happy, and you complete that work very perfectly. Okay, even at house also, right? And showing the risk taking behavior. Okay, and even though if in some other situations, if the situation is very very difficult, even in that difficult situation also you like to continue in that. Okay, so that is said to me risk taking behavior. Then taking decisions by critical thinking. That means you think very very intelligently, and you think whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, and whether you want to do that or not. In that way you take correct decisions. Okay, that means in some situations, and sometimes feel shy and sometimes feel happy. That means while talking with the opposite sex especially, so sometimes you feel very very shy, but when they are in in a love, then they feel very very happy to talk with the opposite sex. Then try to get a friendship with the opposite sex. Okay, that means this is also very very quite common, right? Always you like to impress the opposite sex, and you want to make a friendship, and you want to talk with them, and you want to go outside like this, right? And incline towards unhealthy habits. Especially this is because of a peer group. Suppose if your friends are having some bad habits, then what means? Then automatically you also like to follow them, and you like to start smoking or going around and taking something like this. Okay, and having a more self-conscious. Okay, that means in this time you can find that you are more self-conscious. Self-conscious means you are aware of the things, whether that is a good thing or a bad thing like this. Okay, and show more sensitive towards other emotions. Whenever your friends are in trouble or they are in a sad, you think that no, I must do something and I must make him happy like this. But in this way, you give a more and more importance to this your friends' situations. Alright? So whenever you observe this, all these points, almost all these points are very very perfect in your daily situation also. Correct? So these are the characters we can find in case of adolescence. Okay, and here we can also find some other important points during in this adolescence, and let's see what are they. During this, interest towards the body and the self increases. That means you're taking a more and more care towards your body. That means taking cleaning your face very regularly, and then applying powders and then extra creams, and then using perfumes. In this way, you love your body, and you spend more and more time in front of the mirrors, like combing and checking your dress. Okay, if there is any function, you check 5 to that means different types of clothes, and you want to be very very attractive. Good, right? And even attraction towards opposite sex are the normal response. That means always you like to be like a very very handsome or beautiful in front of the opposite sex, right? But these are all not at all worrying things. Okay, these are very very quite common, and all these changes are just because of some chemicals in our body. They are said to be hormones, right? And even the mind is full of jealous acts. Jealous acts means, so whenever in a classroom your teacher is appreciating your friend, then automatically you get some jealous means you develop a asuya towards that, right? And even at the time you are a very very urge to find reasons. Urge means, that means enthusiasm. You like to know the reasons, whatever the things happening around you, you like to know what is the reason. So you will be very very interested towards that. Okay, and even emotionally in a turbulent state. Turbulent means, that means you could not able to decide whether there is a good or a bad, like this. Turbulent means a little bit confusing state. Okay, and all times get new ideas for their life activities. Okay, that means always they're going on thinking. That means what my life should be like this, and I must be very very rich, and then I have more and more comforts. In this way, they're dreaming, and they're getting new ideas how my life should be like this. Okay, and they behave differently as compared to what they did in childhood with the peers and the elders. So when you were in a childhood days, you behave very the same age group can be called as a peer. So with the peer and also elders, you behave with a friendly manner, and also with a greater love. But whenever you observe your behavior during adolescence, what happens? You can find much change. You don't like to respect the elders, you don't like to listen to the elders. But in older days, in your childhood days, the elders, your parents, and everything, you feel that without them, how I can lead my life like this. But now, even without my parents, I can live very very happily like that. Okay, and even the more independent and self-conscious. Okay, they want to be very very independent. They don't like any interference in their personal matters like this, right? And even they feel very very insecure while trying to adjust to the changes in a body and a mind. During this adolescence, you can find several changes in their body and also in behavior, all these things. Because of these changes, they could not able to adjust to these new changes. Okay, so at the time they feel very very insecure, and in order to share that feelings, they like friends. They want to give company. Okay, which type of company they want? not the company of parents, but they like the company of friends. If even sometimes that friendship may be with the opposite sex. Alright, in this way we can find more and more changes in adolescence, and not only this, we can also find some other changes. Let's see. So what are they means? Even they need a lot of attention, love and care, as well as answers to all their queries about their body and its development. What they feel means, see the parents and the elders, okay, who are present in the home, they must love me, and always they have to give a more and more importance to me, and whatever I say they must listen. So in this way you feel that say all the people must love me like this, okay. And even whatever the doubts they get towards their behavioral changes and physical changes, they want to know why it is happening like this, okay. And what are the doubts they get during this adolescence, they like to know the answers. Alright. And even it is the first and foremost duty of every adult to prepare oneself to reveal the adolescent the secrets of nature and the natural course of life as it is. So here, being as a parents, so adults, how they have to behave means, during this adolescence, whenever the children, the adolescents, they put some doubts, immediately what the parents do, the parents will shout over them. You idiot, shut your mouth. Always talking like that. You shut your mouth, get out, like this. Okay. But whenever the parents behave like this, then what happens? Then the interest to know about that answers will become more and more. Okay, that's why during the adolescence, every parent must behave like friends. Whatever the doubts they get, those doubts should be answered. Right? The mother should be a friend to this girl, and the father should be like a friend to their boy or a son. Alright. Okay, and the adolescent queries must never go unanswered. So whatever the doubts they get, those doubts should be clarified, either from the parents or from the teachers. Alright. But in most of the cases, where they get the answers, how they get the answers? They get the answers from their friends. And even their friends also don't know the correct answers. Okay, that's why sometimes they may give some wrong information, and so in such cases, what happens? They get more and more problems. Okay, that's why. So the responsibility, whose responsibility it is, means parents and the teachers. Both the parents and the teachers must clarify whatever the doubts they get during this adolescence. Clear, children? So these are all very important points we can find during this adolescence. Then what's the next one? That is the hormones and the adolescence. Already I told you whatever the changes we can find in adolescence, all these changes are because of some chemical substances called hormones. These hormones are produced by some special glands called endocrine glands. Endocrine gland. Now these glands, they don't have any tubes. Say for example, outside the home you have the tap, and inside you want to fill the water in the tap. Okay. Then how you can fill that tap? Okay, you can carry the water from outside to inside, that is okay. But whenever you have the pipe, and think that when you connect this tap with the pipe, and the other end of the pipe is put in a tub, then what happens? The water will directly goes to that tub. So what is the use of this pipe here? The pipe is useful to carry the water from tap to tub. So this tube is called as a duct. In the same way, these glands are also having some glands are having tubes, and some glands they don't have any tubes. But whenever you observe these endocrine glands, they don't have any ducts or the tubes. Okay, that's why we call them as a ductless glands. Ductless means tubeless, without a tube. Correct. So what is the other name for endocrine glands? That's ductless glands. And they release some special chemicals. And what do you call these chemicals? These chemicals can be called as hormones. Can be called as hormones. What are the changes you can find in our body during adolescence? Both the physical changes and the behavioral changes, all these changes are just because of these hormones. Correct? That is that firstly the adults must know this. Okay, it is all because of the hormones like this. Okay, and what is the use of these hormones? Means these hormones they do many things. What are they? They control sugar levels. They control sugar levels in our body and even salt and calcium levels in the blood. So correct amount of salts and the correct amount of calcium, which is responsible for the formation of bones, tooth like this, and even water level in the body. Water level means how much amount of water should be present in our body, whether having a less amount or a more amount like this. What? Okay, and even whatever the changes we can find in our body, like muscles getting more and more strong, and the next chest becomes wide and shoulders become wide, and the next development of facial hair, and the next even this menstrual cycle, then a pregnancy, menopause, all these changes. These are all just because of what? Because of these hormones. Alright, children? Okay. Then here we can find one table, even from your textbook, and here we can find these are the glands. These are the glands, different types of glands, and these are hormones, and this is what? This is the function. Okay. So for example, take the first one, testes. From testes we get a hormone that is called a testosterone, and what is the function of that? There is a spermatogenesis. Already I told you, release of sperms can be called as a spermatogenesis, and the next secondary sexual characters in males. Just now whatever I said, like widening of shoulders, and the next just development of hair over the face, then armpits, genital parts. All these things are said to be secondary sexual characters. Then ovaries. Ovaries release a hormone called estrogen, and what is that? There is ovulation. Ovulation means release of ovum, the next menstrual cycle, and even this secondary sexual characters. Right? All these things are because of which hormone? There is estrogen, and this ovary also release one more hormone. Okay, you will get this in your 10th class. We call that as a progesterone. Progesterone. Okay, I will show you that. So here. So even here also it is not given. Okay, so we call that as a progesterone. What does that means? Sure. Progesterone, right? So that hormone is mainly usual at the time of a pregnancy. At the time of a pregnancy, during this pregnancy, when a girl or a woman becomes pregnant, many changes occurs in her body. All these changes are because of this hormone. There is a progesterone, which is also released by ovaries, right? And then a pituitary gland. Where this pituitary gland is present means in our head below the brain. Okay, and it releases some hormone that is called a growth hormone. Growth hormone, which can be otherwise called as a somatotropin. Somatotropin. It is mainly responsible for increasing the growth in our body, right? And the next FSH, which means follicle stimulating hormone. So what is that? FSH directs estrogen for a formation of ovum. That means this FSH is responsible for the release of estrogen, from ovaries. And even what's the last one? There is a LH, which means a luteinizing hormone. It causes the egg to burst out and flow into fallopian tubules. That means, inside the ovary we can find the follicles, and when that follicle ruptures, it releases a egg. Okay, now that released egg enters into fallopian tubule. Okay, and for this process we need this LH. Okay, and then the next one, there is adrenal gland. Okay, and it releases adrenaline, and it is mainly responsible for increasing the emotions, different types of emotions, especially this anger, then this happiness and all these things, right? So this is don't think that these are all the complete hormones, but in a 10th class we will get some more hormones here. I'm showing this. This is from a 10th class, right? In this way you get different types of here. These are all different types of hormones which we can find in our body, right? Okay, and that's all for today, and have a good day. Thank you.